Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gift and I am a Christian creative and a content creator. And today we'll be talking about a very special topic. Yes, boundaries. I know a lot of us have heard of boundaries, but I don't think a lot of us know what boundary really is. So this is a two-part video. I'll upload one today or whenever you see this video, and I'll upload another day because I don't think one video is enough to talk about boundaries, and I'm only human, so I don't have everything in my head. So let's get right into the video. What are boundaries? Okay, excuse me, before we go on, I have a script with me, so I'm reading from the script because I can't, everything cannot be from my head, but I would make sure I interact as much as I can. So, what are boundaries? Boundaries are like rules and they are limits that define your any relationship. There is no relationship that does not have a boundary, or no relationship should not have a boundary. Every relationship should have a boundary. Yes, every relationship should have a boundary, whether it's marriage, friendship, romantic relationship, family. Every relationship has a boundary, and that's what keeps it healthy. That's what it keeps a relationship healthy. So if you see a relationship that's not healthy, probably there is boundary issue. So it's a rule book, just it's a rule book, or it's rules and limits that safeguard a relationship, that safeguard a relationship. So it tells you how, oh, this is how I'm comfortable like this, and I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So it's more than saying yes and no. It's reinforcing your comfort and it's reinforcing what you accept in any relationship. So the next our next topic will be, or should I say guideline, should be signs you need a healthier boundary. So I read a book and this book felt like it was talking to me. And because I know nothing is hidden under the sun, so you might be going through that same issue. I decided to share it with you. So, what are signs you need healthier boundaries? Number one is you're constantly feeling overwhelmed. If you're constantly feeling overwhelmed, you should check, am I in my boundaries still in place? Is something wrong with my boundary? You should check because you might have a to-do list and your to-do list looks overwhelming because you have said yes to a lot of things. Number two is you experience resentment. This spoke to me. Do you know why? Because I was in a state where I was resenting a group of people or resenting something because I was my boundary was crossed and it felt like I had to show up even though I did not want to show up. And just made me feel like I had to do the thing even though I don't want to do it. So I just resented the thing so much. So if you are resenting someone or something, it's probably because your boundary has been crossed. It might not be because of your boundary, but it could be because your boundary has been crossed. Another reason is because you avoid people. So if you avoid people because you know that if if this person calls and I pick, the person is going to ask for something and I will say yes. That means your boundary probably needs a reinforcing. Yes, your boundary needs a reinforcing. If you are avoiding people, you don't respond to your messages, you don't you when you see them, you run away. If you see them here, you go this way because probably your boundary has been crossed. You feel underappreciated. Now, I would put a balance to this. You don't have to do things because you want to be appreciated. You can do it because I just feel like doing it. But when you know you are doing it because of someone or because you just have to do it, you might, and when you are not appreciated for it, you start you start avoiding people, you start feeling resentment. It's a whole cycle because your boundary has been crossed. So if you always feel like, oh, I'm nobody's really appreciating me for what I'm doing, it's because you are not doing it because you want to do it. You are doing it because you don't know how to enforce your boundary. Another reason is you are burnt out. So if you are burnt out, a lot of times is because you you don't have a boundary, and your boundary has been crossed. So you have a pile of stuff you have to do, and you are doing a lot of things at the same time because you are not able to say no. That's one another reason. Another reason is that you fantasize about escaping. I mean, like, I fall into this category because I have thought of escaping. Like, I will free like a bird. How many of you have thought about that? I will free like a bird. I'll be able to fly. Once I'm done with this, and never again. Because your boundary has been, you don't have to reinforce your boundary. Just keep it plain. And you have zero me time. Another reason is because you actually have no me time. As much as you are willing to help, and yes, Christ would want us to help because I'm a Christian, you should have time for you. Imagine Christ was everywhere, doing everything, saying yes to everybody. Would he have time to retreat? Would he have time to have time with for him and God? No. So he had to, you know, stay away from certain things. He had to seclude himself and talk to God and do things that he has to do. If it was everywhere, he would have not done what he came to earth to actually do. If he was saying yes to everything, he would have not done everything he had to do when he came to earth. So that's one. So I said you're constantly feeling overwhelmed, you experience resentment, you avoid people, you feel underappreciated, you're burnt out, you fantasize about escaping, and you have zero me time. So, what are the types of boundaries? Yes, there are three types of boundaries, and we have number one, the weak boundary. And this boundary is almost like you don't have a boundary at all. You have a boundary, but you are not reinforcing the boundary. In fact, you know there is a boundary, but you are not reinforcing the boundary at all. So it feels like the opposite of having a boundary. You don't have a boundary. You say yes to everybody, you're a people pleaser, you you are so dependent on other people. You feel like you don't have a boundary. You accept mistreatment just because you want to keep peace. Yes, Christ said, follow men with peace, keep peace with all men. But then again, I feel like if you are quiet a lot about a lot of things, even when it comes to defending your faith, because you want to keep peace, you will not be able to speak out. You will not be able to, people will step on you. You would not have time for you and God. And that is very important. Intimacy, your time with God is very, very important. And second one is rigid boundaries. And this is the extreme. So you see, there are two extremes. The first extreme is weak boundary, the other extreme is a rigid boundary. So this rigid boundary, yeah, you you put people at arm's length. Once you cross this place, it's over. You easily drop people. Like once you do this, it's over between us. Once somebody has done anything that is against you, it's over. I don't take nonsense. I don't take whatever this person has to say. You drop the person. You don't know that you need people in this life. Oh, nobody has told you that you need men in this life. So you don't drop people. That's a rigid boundary. And this is can be due to past experience. So I'm not blaming you, I'm not judging you. Don't say I'm judging you. Can be due to past experience, due to trauma, past experience. So something has happened to you before and you don't want it to happen to you again. So it's better that that does not happen. You are not vulnerable, and if you cannot be vulnerable in trusted relationships, it's sad because you will not be you will not be people will not be able to offer help to you. Yes, nobody will be able to offer help to you because you keep people at arm's length, you easily drop people, you don't have time for people. Once people do anyhow, you show them anyhow. That's not how you live your life. No, that's not how you live your life. And that's the extreme of it. That's the extreme of it. um you might feel safe. Funny enough, you might feel safe, but you'll not be able to build meaningful connection with people. You'll not be able to build meaningful connection with people. And the best one is healthy boundary, and that is what we need, right? It's healthy boundary we are focusing on, right? Yes. So it's healthy boundary, and it's our goal. Healthy boundary happens when you are clear about your values, you listen to other people's opinion, and most importantly, you are able to say no, and you are able to hear no. We're not doing this, you're not learning so that you just be able to say no to this. No, I don't have time for you, I cannot show up for you, I cannot do this. No, 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 no. Also be comfortable hearing no. Yes. If somebody say no to you, are comfortable with hearing no. Don't be the only person that's one-sided. So we don't do that here. We don't do that here. All right. We don't do that here. So it means not allowing your past to dictate your present. You're not setting boundaries based on what has happened, your past. No, you're setting boundary for your self, present self, and very importantly, healthy boundary comes with clear communication skills. I always say communication is very important in any relationship. Nobody is going to read your head. Nobody's inside your head, and nobody will just magically know that they have crossed your boundary. No. So that's what we aim for, right? So the next subtopic is, why don't you have healthy boundaries? Why don't you have healthy boundaries? And this is very important. So um we'll start from the root top, because I believe a lot of times the reason why we don't have healthy boundaries start from the roots, and let's say the family. And our first lesson is from the family. Children have boundaries, but when parents decide that they can take three approaches. So there are parents can respond in three ways to a child that has a boundary. You see, when in my house growing up, my sister said that she could not eat, like there's a soup she cannot take. If you're Nigeria, you know ogbono soup. And till now, my sister does not eat ogbono soup. She does not. And sometimes fish, something like that. I know I'm not saying that a parent should, if a child say I do not eat this, you make sure the child does not eat it. You are always doing everything the child says no. But there's a way you build a child's boundary without making the child feel as though their boundary should not be respected. I've watched videos of parents telling their children, oh, these are your boundaries. Don't let people touch here. Don't let people touch you. If somebody hug you in certain ways and you don't like, don't allow that. That is you reinforcing the child's boundary and tell the child you have a boundary. If you don't hug certain people, don't hug them. If you are not comfortable hugging certain people, don't hug them. And do you know why this is important? Because it makes the child, it reinforces a sense of boundary. I had like there is a boundary you can cross, there's a boundary I cannot cross. You get, so there are three main ways that a parent can respond to a child's boundary. Either you honor Either you honor the child's boundary and offer alternatives. So you can honor the child's boundary and you can offer alternatives. Honor the boundary and offer an alternative, not completely neglect the boundary. No. You can insist the child ignore their comfort and comply. You can insist that the child should ignore their comforts and comply. And I think a lot of us grew up in that family where our parents, you must comply by force, whether you like it or not. They'll use every form to make you comply, and you comply. And I feel like, even though there was a bad side of it, there was kind of a good side of it. At least I'm not picky now. Unlike some people that are picky, but I'm not picky. I'm not judging. Or punish the child for setting a boundary at all. I feel like if you're Nigerian, you probably understand the magnitude of this, because growing up, our parents, let me not talk much, but you can understand if you're Nigeria about setting when a child has a boundary and you punish that child for having that boundary. Why would you have that boundary? Exactly. Another way people the reason why people don't have unhealthy boundary is because of their modeling, the people they grew up watching. So if you grew up watching your mom being abused, she's always pleasing everybody, she wants to do everything for everybody, it's more likely that you might be at either extremes. Either you might be at the weak boundary where you don't set boundary at all because you've grown up with that kind of mindset, or you have a rigid boundary where you see your parents, maybe your dad is someone that cannot take off days because of his work. He had a toxic environment where he had to go to work every day. So he never had a family time. You might be in the other extreme end where you have a rigid boundary, not a healthy boundary, a rigid boundary where you put people as arm's length, you don't want to associate with people, you don't expect too much, you drop people easily because you have seen it. It's something that you have seen growing up. Another, so many adults struggle with this. Another way is trauma. So if you have been deeply hurt or you have a traumatic past, you might have a very extreme boundary where, because of what has happened, you do not want it to happen again. So you have a rigid boundary and not a healthy boundary, and you are always in this survival mode. People that are always in this survival mode, so they don't want something that can afford their survival where they are. So they are in this comfort zone and they don't want people to breach that. So they always have a very rigid boundary. So nobody's trying to blame you, but I'm telling you why you don't have a healthy boundary. The reason why. Another reason is because of abuse. People who have been physically, mentally, emotionally abused would be in this case where they feel like, people who have been abused a lot of times believe that they are at fault. And if you're in this situation, I can assure you that you are not at fault. You have done nothing to deserve what happened. So you are not at fault. But people who have been abused think that they're at fault. So they most times blame themselves for what happened. So they always have weak boundaries. They think I'm at fault. Oh, I'm the one who has done it. They blame themselves. They want to please everybody. They want everybody to like them because they think they're at fault. So you can be at either extremes. And the last one is emotional neglect. If you grew up in a family where you became an adult too early, in the sense that your parents weren't always around. So you had to be the man of the house, you had to be the mother of the house. Till now people will call you mommy. Till now you are the one holding the family. People reach out to you financially, you always say yes, say yes, say yes, because you don't want to disappoint your parents, you don't want to disappoint your family members. It could be you don't have a boundary. You don't I don't know if you can have a rigid, if you went through that, you can have a rigid boundary. It could be you all have a weak boundary. You're not able to say no, you are not able to voice out what you feel. You prefer, you help people, you are the helper, you are the mother, you are the father, you are the this and that. But no, this could be why you do not set healthy boundaries. So children who grow up to be adults too fast fall into this category. So if you find that you don't have, maybe all the things I've mentioned, and you find that you are there, it could be that's the reason you don't have it about you. And if you look at this, you are not at fault in any of it, so do not blame yourself for any of it. And also, we're going to be, what are the thought patterns that stop us from setting boundaries? What are the things that stop us from setting boundaries? I'm going to mention a few. Number one is, I don't want to be mean. We assume that setting boundary will hurt other people. I don't think it's in my heart, but you're setting the boundary because you don't want to be burnt out. I always say that the only way you'll be able to help other people is if you are able to help yourself. Another pattern that stops us from setting boundary is, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be disrespectful. So you allow yourself to be trampled upon. You allow yourself to hurt because you don't want to appear rude. I don't appear disrespectful. So you don't just set a boundary. And that reason is people pleasing. See, even God did not please people. If there was a truth he had to say, he had to say it. There was a way he said it, but he had to say it. He was not sugarcoating it. He was not trying to please people. Even Paul said, "Am I trying to please people? If I'm trying to please people, No, he was not trying to please people. So if you are someone who likes everybody to like them, you probably will not set boundary. And that reason is things will get awkward after. Things will get awkward after, and it's okay. It will happen at first, but you have to set a boundary. Awkwardness is life. It happens. And that reason, it won't help anyways. So if you're someone who has always said you have set boundary and people really do not care, so you just end up not setting boundary at all. This could be a pattern that happened that has made you stop setting boundary. And that reason is projection. I hate being told no. So if you hate being told no, you might not want to tell people no because you don't want them to tell you no. Does that make sense? Because you don't want people to tell you no to, you don't tell people no. And that's bad because, like we said in the beginning, healthy boundary is the ability to for you to say no and for you to also receive no. It's not a one way thing. You have to be able to say no and you have to be able to receive no. Another reason is I don't know where to start. So the reason you are watching this is because you do not know where to start, and that's where I am your help. You don't know where to start. That could be a reason. You've always wanted to set boundaries, but you don't know where should I start. Where should I start with setting my boundaries? I'm not saying this. Where should I start with setting my boundaries? So yeah, another reason is I can't have boundaries with certain people. So some people believe that they can have boundaries with this person and I cannot have boundaries. So every relationship is different, but every relationship should have a boundary. Every relationship should have a boundary. So if you have been saying yes, you have been nodding your head, oh yes, that's true. It could be the reason why. One of these or multiple of these could be the reason why you haven't set a boundary. Now, what are the uncomfortable feelings that happen when you actually set boundaries? And this is important because it would wow you when you hear about this. It will wow you when you listen and you find like, oh yes, this has happened to me. Number one is guilt. You feel guilty after you set a boundary. You feel guilty. It's life. You feel guilty, but you come out of it. It's something that is new to you. So because you're always used to prioritizing the needs of others. So when you do something contrary to that, you feel guilty. You feel sadness. You become sad that I don't want to be mean, but I appear mean. It's life. You'd feel betrayed, like you might have betrayed people. Because you don't want to disappoint anybody. So when you disappoint people, you feel like you're betraying them and you feel remorse. And this you feel remorse because you're not second guessing it. Should I have really done this? Should I have not really done this? You start feeling remorse, but it's life. And you should try to reframe your mindset. You have to set boundary because not only with helping yourself help people, but you are just your mind, your head, you need to just have be in a good state to be able to help anybody. You need to be. So there are two parts of setting boundaries, and the first is communication. Nobody is in your head. Nobody is in your head. Nobody can tell what you are thinking in your head. So if you're not communicating, I will not know what you want. I will not know your boundary. I will not know when I'm overstepping your boundary. So be able to communicate your boundary. Be able to communicate your boundary because nobody can read your head. Nobody can read your mind. Nobody can read what you're thinking. And that's what builds resentment because you're thinking, this person should have known that they hurt me, or this person should have known that they are stepping on my boundary. Another thing is action. So there are two-step action. And action involves restating your boundaries. See, if you tell somebody that oh I don't like this, I don't want this, I'm not comfortable with this, and the person does it, and because you have to restate your boundary, but you cannot take it anymore and just but you have to restate your boundary. Continue restating your boundary. Stand your ground. You have the ability to stand your ground. And this is not motivational talk. You can stand your ground. People can't read your mind, but then you have to stand your ground. When your boundary is crossed, you have to verbally establish and stand your ground, because you can. I believe in you, and I believe you can stand your ground, and nobody's going to kill you or beat you in this life. Nobody is going to be there old enough, and if you're not old enough, you can, because you have freedom of speech. So you can use assertive statements like, I need to do this for my head, for myself, to be able to help another person, because I'm not in this state. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not okay with this. I'll prefer this. Please talk. Please talk. Have a voice. God has given you a voice, so have a voice. It's important. Now, how do people respond to these setting boundaries? Number one is pushback. So, in this, people resist the change. They might question you and make you want to feel guilty. So they did not understand what is happening back. So they would, when they understand something, there's a way you would act. Yes, that's how they will act. Number two is they would, and okay, I'm going to tell you how you can handle that. You can handle that by you can handle that by acknowledging that, okay, I understand that this is new to you, but I need to do this so that I'll be able to, for myself. I need to do it because I'm not in the right state. I need to do it because I'm not comfortable with it. So it's okay for them to not understand, but you have to communicate. Another way is they limit testing. So when someone tries to see how serious you are with your boundary, they might, try to go. If you tell somebody, I cannot do this, I'm not comfortable with this, another day they can ask you that same thing, but because they're trying to test your limits, they're trying to test, if I push a little bit, maybe she will budge, maybe she would do it because it's a lot for her. People are like that. And what do you do in such a situation? In such a situation, you can tell the person, you are testing my limits. You don't have to shout. Tell the person, you are testing my limits and I'm not comfortable with it and I'm not going to condone it. I'm not okay. And please, you don't have to apologize for setting your boundary. Don't say sorry. If you say sorry, it just gives that you are feeling guilty for setting your boundary. Don't do that. Another way is they ignore. See, people ignore your boundaries. People, you tell somebody, I'm not comfortable with this because it's all they care about. They would ignore your boundary because who are you to tell them you have a boundary? They would ignore your boundary and do whatever they want to do. People can do that. They'll pretend like they did not hear you. Yes, they'll pretend they did not hear what you just said and they are not going with it. And what do you do in such a situation? In such a situation, you say your boundary. Maybe let's just pretend. Let's give people benefit of that because we have to give grace as Christians. You know what you do? You tell the person. You tell the person, I'm not okay. I'm having a conversation with this person. I'm telling the person, I'm not comfortable with this. I do not permit that, setting I don't permit that people call me after past 11 or past 12. And I think you do not understand. So I want you to like repeat it to me. Explain what I just said to you. So they will have no excuse to say, I did not hear you, because you're telling them. You're telling them. Another way is rationalizing and questioning. So people will bombard you with questions to confuse you. They would bombard you, they'll question you, but you have never been like this, you never used to behave like this, you were never like this, you never did this, you were different. What happened? Start bombarding you with questions. Keep it short and simple. Because you don't need to be explaining. Keep it short and simple. I believe this is what is best for me. Simple. This is what's healthy for me right now. Simple, short. When people start bombarding you, short. And that way is this defensive. Some people take boundaries personally and become defensive, making it about them rather than respecting your needs. So I don't have anybody to help me. Let's even forget help. I I need emotional support. I need this money would this someone that's been asking that you know you cannot help this person anymore. And there's nothing you can do. And person is really bothering you. And person is really it's I would die, I would something will happen to me. You can use what you can do is use I statements and focus on the issue on one issue at a time. When the situation happens, you can say I feel before about talk about it. Other people would ghost you. So when you set a boundary, some people would disappear. Like they'll be talking to other people around the circle. They would they would they will be seeing your messages. But because you set a boundary, they would ghost you. Like they would ghost you. So you can send a clear message, noticing their behavior. See, call them out on their action and tell them, I can see that you are responding to my messages, you are talking to people that we both know, but you are not talking to like you are not responding to my messages, you canceled our plans. I can see it. I can see it. And express your concerns. But remember their reaction is not about you, it's about them. The way they take it's not about you, it's about them. And they don't respect your boundary, they do not respect your relationship. Then silent treatment. Other people would give you a silent treatment. I was talking to my friend, I was talking to my church member, sorry, and she said she has been in this situation where she's the one giving the silent treatment. So it's possible that you are the one giving the silent treatment, not the other way around. They what you can do is directly address what you notice. You seem upset. Can we talk about it? Some people are just they cannot take it at first. So you can tell them, you seem upset. Can we talk about it? I understand. Be gentle sometimes. I know you want to be gra, but let's be gentle sometimes and explain to them. Talk about it. And the best of it is people that accept your boundary. I was watching a video some before now, and it was about this girl was telling this guy they were on a TV show, and she told the guy that I cannot kiss you on live TV. I can't see you on TV because I don't want we might get married. I might get married to somebody else, but I respect my spouse, my future spouse, too much to kiss someone on TV. And is these are just my values. And the person said, I respect that. And she said, can I give you a hug instead? And said, I take that, I can take that. But I respect your values. Accepting it. You see? So this is good. Now, this is a very good way. So how can you recognize unhealthy relationship? And this is where I'm going to stop because the video is getting long and I want you to be able to digest each part of this video. You can detect or recognize an unhealthy boundary by you can't express your needs because the other person refuses to listen. They don't ever listen to what you have to say. Who do you think you are to talk? The other person refuses to meet the require reasonable requests, and there's emotional, physical, or sexual abuse. You constantly feel sad, you constantly feel drained after your interaction. Like if it's as if they're taking so much for you. Your relationship is one-sided, you give and they take. And there's a fundamental lack of trust, and the other person refuses to address their harmful behaviors, there's addiction, and there is causing you harm. In all of this, I'm going to say this. Setting boundary is not you being selfish. Please do not sit like that. It's not you being selfish. Setting boundary is necessary for your well-being. It's necessary for your relationship. Not only is it necessary for you, it's necessary for the other person. Because at the beginning, we talked about what can lead, like what's the outcome of not setting boundary. And we say that resentment is an outcome of you not setting boundary. You become resentful to the person, you become drained, you feel like escaping from the relationship. How can that relationship strive? It can't. Friendship, romantic relationship, family relationship, work relationship, none of it can strive if you feel this way in that environment and you feel a certain way that you can't express yourself. Well, this is the end of boundary 101. And if this video helps you in any way, do well to share, like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and get ready for more. See you in my next video.